Hi, my name is Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer, and every single Friday, I do a macro technical analysis video that breaks down Bitcoin, the total market cap of all of the cryptocurrencies, the total market cap of all the altcoins. We also look at the DXY, we look at gold, we look at the S&P futures, and the NASDAQ, and a few other charts that you may want to pay attention to break down what's happening on the macro, so we're not stuck on the smaller time frames, and we have a big picture of where we're going. Last week, we talked about the S&P pumping. It did exactly that. We nailed it. Let's show you what happened. Let's break it down. Let's have some fun with the Crypto Lifer. So first thing we do is we always start off with BTC, Bitcoin on the monthly chart. Now, today is the end of the month. It's Halloween. It happens perfectly here on this Friday. Bitcoin had to close a monthly candle above monthly support, where these last two candles made a tweezer bottom on the monthly. Very, very important. That's monthly support. That's a substantial area. Right now, yesterday, it was looking bad. We dumped pretty hard, but we bounced back so nicely, and now we're back above 108,245. So the first thing you want is tonight, when the monthly candle closes, we just want to make sure that we close above 108,245. That's going to be the most important thing that we're looking at today, okay? Following with that, you want to see if we do lose that area, you'd see we would come back down to 102.5, and if we lose that, we would test 96,000. But unless we go and close a monthly candle below 108, 240, 250, we have to remain more bullish than bearish just on the monthly chart, right? So there's okay. And then the monthly still looks like it could be in this rising wedge. Rising wedges do break down 68% of the time. So if we broke back to 82,000, you can't be surprised. But there's still that feeling of bullishness if we stay above that support. And there is a measured move here to about $182,000 BTC. If you just took this kind of first measured move, you took the whole leg, which it could even go right here. It's an even bigger measured move, and it's explosive all the way up to about $208,000. Again, the way that moved, it says it could be August. If it went in a straight line, it could be March. If it went in an absolute straight line, maybe the end of December, but I don't know. The way Bitcoin moves, it doesn't usually move that fast, that furiously. I mean, that was pretty straight, and that one was too, but look, it still took some lateral time. But it says, hey, we could get there by May. We could get to 182,000, maybe earlier. You never know. I'm not trying to tell you when exactly we're going to hit it. I'm just trying to show you how the structure is forming for BTC. We look at the weekly chart, and the weekly's still technically inside of the same exact framework here. There's your top, there's your bottom, there's your top, there's your bottom, we went basically up and down. But could we break out of here? One idea is we're kind of inside a flag that could be considered a bull flag that we broke out of and broke back inside, and this still will break out. And that could head up to a new high of $138,000 BTC. The weekly also still technically holding what looks to me is a bit of a double bottom here, which, a lot of people haven't really thought about or have been hard to see. But there's still this kind of double bottom here for the weekly. We could still break out somewhere to 130 to the top of this channel, even to 128,005. So those are some bullish signs that are subtle, hard to see, and most people are overlooking. I'm not saying they're amazing. I'm not saying it's like, oh my gosh, but those are some bullish signs. And then the last thing I want you to understand is the daily 200 moving average. Closing above it is bearish. It also feels like we've made this kind of shoulder, head, right shoulder pattern that could break down. If that breaks down, that is a nasty measured move. Somewhere definitely down to about 90, 89,000. So that's on the table. Again, for all this to happen, we have to close a daily candle below the 200 moving average. And then honestly, you can see a possible shoulder, head, right shoulder forming here that could send Bitcoin down to 102.4. So I still see a good amount of bearish sentiment, and I see some bullish sentiment squeaking out. But I need to build more bullish confidence. Right now, the bears are still in control. So as far as I'm concerned, until you get back above this kind of double top, 115,000, even this 115,005 area, and even 117, we could see more bearishness. So Bitcoin's got to show us something soon. And it's got to shrug off this head and shoulders. No pun intended, but it has to shrug off this head and shoulder. It can't make another right shoulder here. That would likely send us lower. And so today, I don't want to go too small, but we're just watching to see if the 1 hour will flag out and if the 15-minute will stay above the 200 moving average into tonight. If that happens, we have a chance of breaking out here. Look, But I don't want to get too micro for you, but just if you want to see what could happen today and then how it pans out into the bigger time frame. So that's my analysis for Bitcoin. It still looks somewhat bullish because we're above the monthly support. The daily is back above the 200 moving average, but we're kind of hanging on by some hopium in a thread. We need some stronger moves. The 15 and the 1 hour today are going to show you what could happen into Friday afternoon and into Friday night after you watch this. Let's take a look at the total market cap for all of cryptocurrency. This is holding something a little more interesting. This is why I bring it up and have been talking about it and juxtaposing it with Bitcoin. This never went below the 200 moving average. The last time we came right to it, it was a perfect buy signal. The last time we dipped below it. Every time it dipped below it, we got tight moving averages and explosive. We're pretty close to it, and we're getting tight moving averages. That does tell you that it's time for the daily to possibly start to make a bigger move. And then these moving averages start to expand. So the altcoins, this is the total market cap. So it has Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. It's got everything in it. And the altcoins just aren't as bad as Bitcoin for whatever reason. And so because of that, the Bitcoin chart's below the 200, but the altcoins are above it. As long as we stay above the 200 moving average on total, we make a move back up here to the top of the pattern, we consolidate, and all the bullishness still is on the way. If we lose the 200 and we start hanging around down here, you got to start thinking this shoulder, head, right shoulder is playing out, and we could see a dump. So we're on the precipice of a nasty pump or a nasty dump. So I switched on us. But it's a very, very sensitive situation to be in right now. I could see it going both ways, and we got to be very tight on it. There's a chance a monster long can be had too if we catch it right. So I'm being obsessed about this 200 moving average on the daily, and I'm watching it closely here as well. We got to defy this head and shoulder and shrug it off, as I said before, and continue to pump. Let's take a look at Total 3, which is the entire market cap of all the altcoins, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And again, they're doing the same thing. They're above the 200 moving average in this consolidation. It's almost like I'm expecting this to break out from that broken fake pattern, defy the head and shoulder, and head up here. And basically shrug off the bear, say, no, we're not going into a bear market. We go down here, everyone will start talking about a bear market again. They'll say this was a double top. They'll talk about how the altcoins are dead and that they're done and we're cooked. We bounce up here, we get tight, and everyone's back on, bull market's on, altcoins are ripping. So you can see in the next few days, people will run with a narrative very, very fast as to what's happening based on this technical analysis. You want to watch this very, very closely. You do not want to lose the daily 200 moving average. Let me show you again the yellow line here on Total 3. You want to make sure you stay above the yellow line on Total 3. Okay, now that we looked at the altcoins, I want to kind of jump into Bitcoin dominance. Why? Because this kind of shows us what's happening and how much money is flowing into Bitcoin. So money's flowing into cryptocurrency, right? Say 100 million came into crypto. If 60 million of it came into Bitcoin dominance, then we would say, okay, Bitcoin dominance is at 60%. You see what I'm saying? So right now, Bitcoin dominance is pretty close to that. It's at about 60%, 59.9, I think it's at right now. 59.96 or yeah. So what we're looking for is when Bitcoin's bullish, right? Bitcoin dominance will surge because people want to run into Bitcoin. But then you want to see Bitcoin, give some liquidity to the altcoins and let the altcoins pump. We haven't been seeing that. Bitcoin dominance just on a tear. It gave us a little alt season right there, but then it gave it right back. This shows signs of Bitcoin regaining big strength, getting tight up and down, and then maybe it just, it's kind of crazy, but Bitcoin dominance is bullish. And on the weekly, it looks like it may continue to go on a tear. What we're looking for is a possible shoulder head, and maybe it comes up, makes a right shoulder, and then gives the altcoin some relief here, and we do get altcoin season. But right now, it's Bitcoin in the spotlight yet again, and it's telling us that it's going to be the Bitcoin show. If we get a big reversal soon, it's going to be a big Bitcoin pump. And again, we've seen Solana move. We've seen, Zcash. We've seen certain coins move, but most of the altcoins don't get the huge surge. They get a surge, but not the huge surge you're looking for. Bitcoin really takes that show. So you're looking to see this right shoulder, if possible, see somewhere in that area at 61.5. But at the same time, it almost looks like Bitcoin may go on a tear. And this is kind of foreshadowing a bigger move. So Bitcoin dominance suggesting that we are going to see a move for Bitcoin and not the altcoins as hard. That's just what we're seeing. And then Tether dominance. We look at this too because you want to see if Bitcoin dominance is pumping and Tether dominance is pumping, it means people are running out of altcoins and rushing into Bitcoin for safety and Tether for safety, right? So they're in bearish times. But if Bitcoin's pumping and Tether dominance is dumping, it's a bullish sign. It says, wow, people want, they want to get into altcoins. You want to see Bitcoin dominance dump and Tether dominance dump together, because that means people are in altcoins. If Bitcoin's strong, you're going to see Bitcoin dominance pump, but Tether dominance will dump. You see? So right now we're looking for Tether dominance to form an M pattern here and dump below the 200. Right now it's actually kind of bullish on the 3-day. You could see even on the daily, it's touching the 21 above the 200, which is a bullish sign. So this is another thing. It's kind of a sketchy idea here. Like, what if we get a tightness here and this breaks out? That would say that Bitcoin's taking a tumble, right? Why would people be rushing into Tether? So right now Tether is kind of, it's sketching me out a little bit because it looks a little more bullish than it should. I'd like this to make an M and start to dump back down to the bottom of the pattern. So in the next 4 to 5 days, if this stays more sideways, it doesn't look like it's rounding off, it could start to brew the idea that we are going to get another pullback for Bitcoin. So by watching Tether dominance, we can get a good idea of where price action may be headed, because it can tell us where liquidity is flowing, right? If liquidity is flowing out of Tether, it's okay. If it's flowing into Tether, that's not a great sign for Bitcoin. So we got to watch that. The DXY, right? Getting strong. It's interesting. The dollar actually making this kind of Adam and Eve double bottom. Everyone was more bearish on the dollar recently with inflation and stuff like that. But look at the dollar. The dollar was dumping, but look at the dollar climbing back up. If the dollar goes up in value, right, that can stabilize the market somewhat. It still looks like it may be making kind of like a descending triangle flag here, but it isn't Adam and Eve. And it seems to be in a bit of an uptrend. It could gap back up there. Let's take a look at the 4-hour or the 8-hour. Yeah, I mean, look at that. The DXY is in a bit of a bull flag, and it's been pumping today. So, I guess bullish tariff news, trade news, bringing a strong dollar, right? Which isn't always the best. You could pump with Bitcoin, but, you like Bitcoin, you like the dollar to be sideways or kind of trending down in general for altcoins and Bitcoin. So that's another interesting concept there. You're seeing the dollar starting to gain steam. Looks like it could head up to 101. And then gold on that massive tear. Everyone's wondering what gold is about to do. I just see gold resetting, right? It made a huge pump. Whenever an asset pumps like this, it's got to reset. And reset to the weekly 200 moving average. I wouldn't be surprised if it flags out just like this. But it may, and it does, I don't care if it flags out sideways or more downward. After a pump like that, it may be more downward. All I care about is just it's going to reconnect to the 21-day moving average and begin its next pump. Maybe it comes down to the beautiful 618 golden pocket here, and we see gold touch 3,700. That would make sense. So either it's going to come down here to this or go sideways, but I don't see a big pump happening for gold for a while. It's going to reset now. That was a big surge. They got their money, derivatives traders took some big gains, and we were able to call that flag. We could see it was happening, and then boom, gold just continued to pump in a 10-week period. There's a short of me saying this happening before it happens too. There's a bunch of, I called this many times. It wasn't that hard. It was a flag touching the 21, low stochastic. It did what it was supposed to do. And let's go back to last week's beautiful prediction of the pump on the S&P. We talked about watching that 3-day chart, the daily. We said, I see this flagging out and pumping. I said, I see this somewhere, as an entry here. And this was last Friday right there as we kind of started to make a move on the 24th out of this channel. And the entry there at 6,700. And I see this continuing to go up. Same thing here. I would flag this out now, wait for the flag. And it looks like maybe next week, Friday, is when we start to pump again. Or Wednesday, it says Wednesday the 11th. Somewhere Wednesday the 10th to the 11th of November. And I see a bigger target waiting at 72,270. And so that trade is still in the money. And you're above the entry there on the S&P. And I see that continuing. And then the NASDAQ, similar idea. Getting into this flag, pumping to the upside. And then we drew like a twisted sister, I guess. And I said, look for it to do one of these two things. Same idea. So once that happens, we kind of delete our previous projections and we reset. But you can see it's starting to do something like this. And make a bit of a flag here where it could break out further to the upside, right? So I'm looking for this to kind of consolidate. It has a head and shoulder. It's a little bearish. But I'm looking for this to turn around, get a pump, and go sideways. And they're going to print trillions of dollars. They try to get bearish, but they're still printing trillions of dollars, and they have to continue to print to keep this market alive. I don't buy it. Bitcoin wouldn't be where it is at if they stopped printing. And it's only a matter of time. And then they're going to quantitative ease. And then the Nasdaq's going to eat up all that money that's coming in. I see it going to 27,600. At that point, we'll reassess. There could be a bigger pullback. But this is a parabola with a base forming. People see the bigger picture or overbought. But, you know, this is where you are when you continue to print money. You overinflate assets. And that's just what's happening. I hope you loved this TA video. I had a great time making it. You know, if you want more of this, go to my live stream Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern, Daylight Savings and Eastern Standard Time, or Saturday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Watch them all. I'm here every single day, 7 days a week. I haven't taken a day off since February of 2021, bringing you cryptocurrency, technical analysis, and stocks. Anything really you throw at me, we'll put it down. On the stream, we do all sorts of super chats. We have fun. It's a great place to be. I can't wait to see you there. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Crypto is life.